right. Hello, everyone. This is Coach Jackie Zach, and I'm excited to have Michele Tonkovitz from Green Onion Creative with us today. The big cheese. Wait, no, the big onion. Yep, that's Michele Tonkovitz with a career spanning nearly 25 years in creative and strategic marketing. The last 11, Michele has been leading her talented bunch of employees as owner and CEO of Green Onion Creative. As an independent business owner, Michele loves to help her clients turn their visions into results getting realities. No matter what business you're in, no matter what size your budget is, Michele believes everyone deserves the opportunity to have good marketing. Outside of her home office, which Green Onion Creative is a fully remote company for all employees and freelancers. Michele teaches fitness classes for her local rec department, recently celebrating 17 years as an instructor. Congratulations. She also takes great pride in being president of the Milwaukee chapter of the Marketing Association. There isn't much downtime in Michele's calendar, but whenever she can, Michele is booking domestic or international travel to relax, recharge, and make memories with family and friends. It is my pleasure to welcome Michele to the show today. Hello, Michele.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks so much for reaching out to me and inviting me to be a guest on the podcast.
I'm so excited to interview you today because having gotten to know you a little bit, I love your story, and I think that there's a lot our audience can learn from you, and may see themselves in you as well. So tell us a little bit about your personal story, where you were born, where you live, things like that.
So I was born here right in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I am an only child, but I have a very large family who I love and adore very much. I was that kid who knew right away when I was young that I wanted to get into advertising because my auntie was a media buyer here in
Um,
Milwaukee. And so we got to go to cool things like Disney on Ice and Milwaukee Admirals games, to the Dells, to water parks, and have a lot of fun splish splashing around back then. And I was like, wait a minute, do you do advertising? You get to do cool things? I want to do cool things when I become a grown up. And so I'm still waiting to figure out what I'm going to be when I'm a grown up, but I don't think I'll ever grow up.
Oh, what a great story. How wonderful is that to see your future self in action with your aunt? That's wonderful. So how did you get where you are now professionally, or how did you decide to, buy and start your company?
Yeah. So, again, knowing that this is the route that I wanted to take very early on, I really pursued all of that in my schooling at the University of Wisconsin Whitewater, and then transferring and finishing up at UW Milwaukee, where I started out as an intern at a local agency in town, and then took a role as a media assistant and PR assistant with the University of Milwaukee itself. So I just dove right deep into working at agencies, starting my career as a proofreader and elevating to a copywriter. I did in-house agency work for many, many years before branching out and worked for Reader's Digest on super cool brands like Everyday with Rachel Ray, Betty Crocker, Taste of Home, Pillsbury. Then I went back into the agency world, and it had changed a lot since I was there in the early part of my career. And so, again, one day I was sitting at my kitchen table going, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? At that point in time, I was 34 years old, and I
Uh-huh.
thought, is this a time where I pivot and do something different? Do I become a nurse, right? Because, well, we have a need for nurses. And as I was sitting there kind of pondering, what does the next chapter of Michele's life look like? Some clients, some former colleagues and coworkers from along the way were like, "Hey, are you still doing some freelance stuff? Could you help out with a flyer? Could you help out with a press release?" And I was thinking, well, but if you have a flyer, it needs to be attached to something, right? Some type of an event or whatever. So yeah, okay, let's do that press release to go along with it. Do you need social media posts? Do you need a website, landing page or a microsite built and written to help promote it? And really, that's how Green Onion started. It was from people in my career along the way who wanted to know if I could do more freelance for them. And I'm like, wait a minute, this could actually turn out to be a business that I run for me on my terms, instead of having to work for someone else.
What a great story. And I love how you took all of those layers and created Green Onion and called it Green Onion. I think that is just a wonderful creative title. So that is fabulous. So tell us a little bit about your leadership style.
So I definitely have had some fantastic leaders throughout my career and some not so great ones. And you take a little bit of both from each of those aspects. I really believe in empowering my team. Everybody sees things differently. And I think that there are different perspectives from my teammates, from our subcontractors, and our clients. We can all learn from each other. I like to call myself the chief hole poker, right? Because when I look at graphic designs that we're developing, when I look at the content that we're developing, my goal is to kind of find out, like, where do we have those holes? Where do we need more clarity? Every word matters, every graphic matters. And so we don't want to have all this fluff and noise. We want to make sure that we have a very strong, quick hitting, memorable message. And so I always tell my Green Onion Creative bunch, hey, like, when I redline things, it doesn't mean that I think your work is not that great. It means that we're going to make it stronger together to really get the client the success that they want.
Oh, excellent. So to that end, tell us a little bit more about your company. Like, who do you serve?
Yeah. So Green Onion Creative, just like we have lots of layers of talent, or I like to call them the layers of awesomeness. We also have a lot of layers of clients that we do serve. So from a client perspective, we are rooted right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So we help a lot of local businesses. We have a local grocery store client. We have helped the mom and pop security shop develop a website. We have a client, Festival City Symphony, who is Milwaukee's longest running symphony orchestra here in town. We're helping them with full service public relations, copywriting, graphic design. We're doing website wellness checks. So that kind of dabbles into our services that we offer, but we're also doing that too on an international scale. So we're helping companies grow worldwide with manufacturers that do B2B. So think of pumps. One of our clients is a pump manufacturer. So that Go-Gurt's got to get into the tube somehow. It just doesn't magically appear there. So
Right.
we help, so we help businesses sell their products to distributors or maybe other companies that will buy direct from the supplier. And really, in those cases, SEO, that search engine optimization, and making sure all the keywords are in the right places at the right time is so important.
Excellent. So when did you realize that you have the confidence that you could run your own business?
So, confidence is probably one of my greatest assets and maybe one of my biggest downfalls. Like I had mentioned, I'm an only child, so but I'm very much loved by my entire family. So I never felt that I couldn't do anything. And I had the backing and the support of wonderful people around me who said, Michelle, go do whatever you want. So it was really, again, when I was sitting at my kitchen table and these people were coming to me from, previous chapters in my life saying, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Well, they didn't work with me just because they had to work with me. Now they're coming to me because they want to work with me. And boy, if that isn't a confidence booster, I don't know what is.
So if you had, let's go back in time to the beginning of your career. What would you do differently, or what would you change if you could go back?
So at the early part of my career, I was a proofreader, and that was a really great opportunity because it let me learn uh, the clients really from the ground up. And I did choose to stay here in Milwaukee. But as you said in my intro, my love of domestic and international travel really makes me think, boy, I wish I would have studied abroad. Right. So if there's
Mhm.
any young marketing listeners or business owners or right young people out there, I really encourage you to go and study abroad because again, now that we market in an international standpoint for some of these manufacturers, what we really realize is things like cliches and colloquialisms don't really work around the world. And so to get that better global perspective is something that I wish I would have done. And I really encourage people, I guess, at any point in time in their life, go out and explore what the rest of the country and the rest of the world has to offer.
Right. Excellent. That's great advice. Totally great advice. So, what's a common myth about being the president or CEO that you want to dispel?
That we make tons of money and we're traveling constantly. No, yeah, please, I'll see you on my yacht. No, it's a lot of work to run a business. And if you look at what the numbers coming in, right, what your billings are, those numbers can look really, really great on paper, but you have to subtract all of the expenses. Running a business is not cheap. And having employees means more, money going out. But those are good expenses to have, because when you try to take all that on yourself, it's just too much and too overwhelming. That's where like the cracks in the plaster come, right? And all of a sudden the walls will crumble down.
Yeah, and that's great advice, because you're limited by, if you're taking it all on yourself, you're only limited by your capacity, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to grow, you have to include other people for sure. So what's one of the most, or one or a few most interesting insights you've learned or advice you've received in the past that's worth sharing with our audience?
Yeah. So, some of the insights are, don't be afraid to grow, right? So I just said, you got to push a lot of money out, but it helps you also get a lot of money back in. And my growth from Green Onion's perspective, it was me. I was the sole onion for many, many years, until one of those manufacturing clients said to me, look, we love you and we love the work that you're doing, but you can't keep up with the volume that we have. So we need you to grow your team. And they were great in encouraging me and pushing me to make that expansion. And I brought on 2 employees who are content writers. And they were going to just work on that one client. But then I realized they have amazing talents in these other areas too. They can help me better serve my clients in other ways. So really one of those insights is listen to the people around you and be encouraged and inspired to make that growth and that shift. Other advice that I have to give is being a business owner is your job, but it doesn't have to be your life. You have to make time for yourself, because not everybody that you encounter wants to hear all the nitty gritty and ins and outs of like your business all the time. You have to still be a person. And that's what I tell our clients, new and existing, and our partners too, is every day, Green Onion Creative, we come to the table as professionals, but first and foremost, we're people too. And life happens. For example, yesterday I had to clear my whole calendar in the afternoon to take my dog to an emergency vet appointment.
Oh.
And if anybody listening to this knows me and knows my love for my black lab tubs, they knew like, okay. And I've gotten sent a bunch of follow-ups this morning to say, is Tubby okay? And he's okay. He just hurt his hip lunging after a cat. It's fine.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. As an animal lover myself, I was like, oh no, as you were talking. So, and you're absolutely right. There, you are, we as business owners are people too. And we have to remember that. Everybody else, I think, remembers it, but we have to remember that as well. Yeah. So what's something you want to learn outside of work?
Learn outside of work. I really believe in health and wellness, right? Which is why I also have been teaching fitness classes for 17 years for my local rec department. And so I'm always on this journey to find ways to make sure that I'm better managing stress, that I am relaxing, that I'm being mindful, right? That mindset, and just ways to keep myself healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially, so that I can continue to live a long, healthy, loving, happy life that is the right fit for me.
Excellent. Excellent. So, what's one area of your business you've always wanted to become more expert in?
Boy, the world of marketing is constantly changing, right?
Yeah, I can
And yep,
imagine.
yep. And so, our core services are content writing, social media, public relations, and website. AI, we can't ignore it, right? It's
Right.
here and it's constantly evolving. And I remember when the conversation of AI first started bubbling to the surface, I had a couple of the writers on my team come to me and say, Michelle, do you think that we're going to be out of a job? And I was like, no, we're not going to be out of a job because, right, the computer only know what we're telling it to know. We need to still interject our client tones of voices. And I think as the AI continues to get smarter, we as marketers and business owners need to get smarter too, and making sure that we're using the right AI tools that are reputable, that are producing outcomes in the results that are in align with your brand, and really just learning more about this world of AI that's not going to go away is probably one of the strongest areas that I think that myself personally and as a company we're looking into.
And it's that is an excellent point. I was at the dentist yesterday and I was just going for a cleaning, so nothing big. And the hygienist says, "Well, we're gonna put whatever into AI." I was like,
Oh,
"What?" Yeah. And so whatever they did, and so it brought up whatever it brought up. And so when the dentist came in to check, they did a visual just like you're talking about. We're always going to need people,
mhm.
but he did a visual and didn't changed his mind about what they were recommending. So it was very, I was so shocked when I heard that. I was like, I'm at the dentist getting my teeth cleaned and you're using AI too. So you are absolutely right. AI is here to stay for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So what's the next big thing for you in your business? Like 1 to 3 years, any areas of growth or, or challenge?
So, in the next 1 to 3 years, I would really like Green Onion to continue growing our layers of awesomeness with our talented employees and subcontractor partners to accommodate the way that the marketing world is growing, right? So, again, it's investing in training opportunities, it's investing in systems and tools. And again, these investments come with some high dollar amounts, but it's that opportunity to make sure that you are staying on the cusp of what the clients in the market need, so that you can continue to grow financially, grow that strong reputation, and grow your service offerings.
Right, exactly. So, well, that I'm very looking forward to seeing that in the next 1 to 3 years. I can't wait to see how that changes for you over the course of the next little while. So, what do you have? What kind of advice do you have for business owners who are trying to do it on their own?
You don't have to do it on your own. So please tap into, we have so many great associations on a national level and local levels throughout this entire country. Find like-minded people so that you can learn from them and be connected to resources that they trust, and have been successful for them in growing their business. Again, you don't have to like wear the weight of all of the business operations yourself. I mean, there are lots of things about running a business that I don't love to do, and I found some amazing partners along the way who can help me relieve the duties of finances and whatnots so I can really
Sure.
focus on the things that I'm great at and help encourage my employees and teams to be great at the things that they do.
Awesome. So it sounds like you've been really blessed with an incredible career and incredible people who've helped you along the way. What would you like to say to them?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because without you, there would be no me. There would be no green onion. And it really is the idea of kindness
Mhm.
means so much. And so, reach out and have coffee dates or Google Meets or Zooms. Just connect with other people, and it's not so much I'm connecting with you because I want to sell you on what I'm doing. It's connect with somebody and say, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help? Is there a connection I can make so that you can continue to grow? Because life is really precious And we don't have
Yes.
time to waste on relationships that aren't meaningful. So really look at the people that you are connected with at work, in your community, in your family, in your friend group, and just take a minute or two to find out how are they doing, because they might need to bounce ideas off, get something off their chest. And in turn, you can find that information to be so valuable in helping your own personal and professional growth.
Hmm. Excellent. Well, Michelle, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I love it, and I can't wait to continue to watch my LinkedIn network grow with connections from those who watched the show and listened today.
Excellent.